Good morning, welcome to our third lesson. So today we will talk about Capstone Doctrine. Remembering, the Capstone Doctrine was evolution after the Berlin Report. So Capstone Doctrine implemented, gave tools in terms of ways to accomplish those recommendations settled by the Berlin Report. Okay? Berlin Report, timeline 2000. Capstone Doctrine 2008. So there was a gap between the establishment of the Berlin Report and the edition of Capstone Doctrine. Our objectives today: to understand the Capstone Doctrine as an important tool for the peacekeepers, explain the main difference between traditional and multidimensional peacekeeping operations, identify robust peacekeeping missions. Capstone Doctrine, so, as I already said, transformed recommendations of the Berlin Report into a field manual, starting with recommendations connected to human rights. To understand human rights, we must understand the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. You can check the list through internet. It's available over there. And it's very important to understand the difference between international humanitarian law and human rights. Human rights, peacetime; international humanitarian law, wartime, when after starting a conflict. You'll be able to understand all these rules, all these definitions reading our lessons, okay? Basically, human rights apply most in time of peace, and international humanitarian law, a law of exception that's used in case when jurisdictional order is broken, as I said. It's important to emphasize the main instruments of international humanitarian law, Geneva Conventions, very important for you guys, and additional protocols as well. And in terms of the human rights violation, what is very important for you peacekeepers? What can you do? Note facts, report violations, take action under the mandate, and coordinate with human rights component. It's very important for you to understand, to memorize the sequence of these acts. And international humanitarian law principles. All these principles, these 5 ones, is important for you when you are planning any kind of operation. These principles will connect your decisions to international humanitarian law, to human rights, and will be connected to the field as well as rules of engagement. Okay, so there is a link connecting human rights, international humanitarian law, and rules of engagement. It is the main idea for you during this lesson here. So these principles, which ones? Humanity, military necessity, proportionality, distinction between civilians and combatants, prohibition to cause unnecessary suffering. You'll be able to have to read these definitions to understand the entire concept. Here, mandate. What's the importance of the mandate? All tasks involving planning, rules of engagement, everything is in there. So, in the Security Council resolution, the mandate of the mission will be there, tasks will be there. So, must read the entire mandate to know exactly what you have to do. And core business of United Nations peacekeeping operations. Thinking about from the traditional one to the new ones. Observation, supervision, interposition, and the new spectrum nowadays in terms of evolution, new threats. Not only conflict between states, we already talked about this, okay? conflict prevention, peacemaking, peace enforcement, peacekeeping, peace building. Nowadays, many threats, failed states, ethnic conflicts, armed groups, drug trafficking, terrorism, no ceasefire. It means that all actors involved in the conflict will accept the treaty. So UN, you have to use lethal force beyond self-defense to fulfill the mandate. So this scenario, you see, there is no ceasefire. All these phases will be, this scenario, this environment will be connected into only one, and different tasks must be done. And the peacekeeping operations will become more and more complex, meaning that the actors involved, UN agencies, police, the military, will be able to take steps, different ones, maybe using the lethal force, maybe using humanitarian aid, different tasks, multidisciplinary tasks. So mission will be divided in different phases: startup, implementation, transition, with handover, withdrawal, and liquidation. You'll be able to read the definitions of this phase, different phases. Okay? Implementation and mandate, very important to read that. Transition, handover, withdrawal, liquidation, integration.